Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am your host, Brian Call, and I am joined today by my brother, the Gritty Broman. How are you, Brent?
I'm well, thank you.
Right on. Today's podcast is with a handful of dudes, like a whole panel, like more dudes than I had microphones for. I made a trip to the North Pole, the Arctic, up there with and met up with Ryan Lampers, Jordan Harbertson, Ryan Bassham, David Brinker, Bryce Bishop, and we sat down and we just did a podcast, and it was pretty cool. The podcast, we talk a little bit about peaks, and we talk about...
The podcast was like 20 minutes of you guys roasting each other, and then there was a podcast thereafter.
Right, true. We're all friends from various walks of life, and we all have different experiences, but we got together, and we were hanging out with Bryce, and we talk about Bryce, his company, Peaks Equipment, and it was a pretty cool get-together. And we talked about the Stormcastle Gaiters. Ryan shares some insight through his testing of those Gaiters. And
I did not know that he went and got sandpaper and was trying to take the stitching apart to see how abrasive they were.
Yeah, that and more. And we've gone through various iterations of the product as Ryan and I have tested them, and same with the poles, We're like, hey, this doesn't work or that doesn't work. And we've really beat the crap out of both the Peaks trekking poles and the Peaks Gaiters throughout the last couple of years. Few years now. It's been a while. It's pretty cool to be part of this journey. And basically, we talk on this podcast how Bryce kind of came to be and how we all are connected or came into this sphere of working with Bryce and his products. And it's been a fun journey. And we talk about Peaks and the Gaiters and the poles a bit. And it gets into some philosophical discussions, some discussions on business and entrepreneurship, taking the jump, the leap, and all of that, the philosophy behind Peaks as well. It's a good, fun conversation, I think. The audio's not as dialed as I like. Again, we didn't have all the microphones we needed, so we were kind of making do with what we had available to try to eke out something that that's pretty presentable. And I think it'll be good. We're working on it right now, and I think you'll like it. So I think you're gonna like that. Before we move on to the show, I want to remind you to use the code GRITTY at Mountain Ops, and you're gonna get 20% off right now. That 20% goes for everything,
the whole store
at Mountain Ops, and including apparel and other things. And then also you get free shipping. So jump in there, use the code GRITTY, and win. And if you want to win a Hoyt RX4 Ultra, we're giving one away right now. That bow retails for $1,750. Sweet bow. We're giving that away to the people who have become supporters over on our gritty.locals.com group. It's our Gritty Stealthy group. Ryan and I have got a little community over there. If you go to gritty.locals.com and you sign up, it's $7 a month, and you're going to get access to exclusive film and podcast content that you can only get as a member, that you can only get as a supporter over there. And if you join up right now, you're entered to win the Hoyt bow, which we're going to announce on April 19th. In addition to that, we're dropping a couple movies this month that are pretty long. I mean, they're like 30-minute films that are cool films that no one has ever seen, and is just for the people who become supporters over there. We're still going to produce a ton of content for our regular YouTube audience, but if you want a little extra, and all you got to do is pitch in $7 a month. It really helps us, so we're not so dependent on corporate sponsors. We're not so dependent on the YouTube platforms, and really helps us grow that independence, which Ryan and I are really seeking. So check that out. Get yourself entered to win a Hoyt bow. Just go to gritty.locals.com and become a supporter. Also, use the code GRITTY at Treeline Pursuits. If you're doing some preseason scouting and you haven't taken Mark Livesey's e-scouting course, he has a elk finding e-scouting course at Treeline Academy. And it's amazing. It's an amazing course. It will blow your mind. It will completely change how you e-scout. It will completely change how you hunt. And it should dramatically increase your success rate. I think it's just It's a phenomenal course. So check that out. And all of the things, all the links to these things can be found in the description fields of the YouTube videos of our podcasts. And check them out. And if you use the code GRITTY with Livesay at Treeline Academy, you also save there as well. So check that out. And also check out our other partners, Backcountry Fuel Box. We've got Canvas Cutter, Goat Knives, Gracksaw Game Bags, Alpaca Rafts. There's a number of them. Go check out the description fields below our YouTube videos, and you'll see a long list there. And there's discounts for everybody when you use those codes that are in there. They're almost all GRITTY is the code, but now and then we get a weird one. But check that out, and it helps all of us and hopefully helps you out.
Look at you, Gritty Goat.
Heather's Choice is another one. I just ordered a box of Heather's Choice. Use the code GRITTY. You're going to save there. Lots of deals. So as you're preparing for your spring hunts, whether it's turkey or bear, use the code GRITTY at some of these places and get yourself stocked up. That new Canvas Cutter Summit bedroll is pretty legit too. All right, so let's hop into this show. Hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think. Stay gritty. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast, folks. I am your host, Brian Call, and today I have a broad panel of visitors hanging out. I'm in Bozeman, which is cold. It's too cold for me, but I'm here anyway. And I'm here with my buddy Ryan Lampers. We got Bryce Bishop, both also, and Brian Bassham, all living in the Montana northern Arctic. And then
the great state.
So we got Bryce Bishop, owner of Peaks. Ryan Bassham. Ryan, what's your current?
I'm a jack of all trades, is how I like to think of myself. I'm currently, I sit on a few different brand boards, working as a consultant as well, investing into a couple opportunities that got me pretty jacked. I'm still running my booking agency on the side, so helping hunters book hunts all over the world, even though COVID has put a little bit of a hitch in my giddy up. But just enjoying the life of doing all things hunting.
Right on. And we've got Jordan Harbertson here.
Needs no introduction.
None.
We're good.
The man.
Next.
There he is.
Yeah, if you follow Gritty, you know who Lampers is. You know who Jordan is. You should know who Bassham is. And we should also know who David Brinker is. David has joined us. He's a country music star and also previously with Sitka Gear. You were the third employee at Sitka. And now you are doing Made Out West. And
yeah. I'm serving on some couple boards. I own my own company, my own land company, Made Out West, and hunting and playing music and doing all the things outdoors.
Yeah.
And now I'm here with you, your smiling face.
Yeah.
And Lampers, which is always a pleasure to see him.
It's always nice to be with Healy Jesus.
Yeah. So far, Ryan has talked too much. We were only a few minutes in.
We'll see if we can get him to speak 10 words.
We will,
That's the
because
goal.
we want to talk about some of the cool stuff that's going on with Peaks. Bryce, you're the owner of Peaks, and you've been, it's been, 2 years now since you launched it?
Yeah, we launched in August of 2019, so not quite 2 years. It's been a year and a half. We started out, as sissy sticks with just the trekking poles.
Yep.
And ran that for about a year, and then, wanted to diversify the brand into other product offerings, and just realized that, to broaden that product offering to our consumer base, we had to kind of rebrand. And so we went through that big process of rebranding, and Peaks was formed, and that kind of relaunched last August.
It's been really fun.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've got a lot of different people from across the hunting industry that have you've become friends with and acquainted with, helping you build your brand and getting lots of outside advice, which has been really neat. Yeah. I mean, I come with a lot of expertise, but
you've been instrumental, right?
Actually, I was very skeptical, and for those who haven't heard that podcast, Bryce and I did a couple. You can go back and check those out. We'll put links in the description field on the YouTube video for this, but. Yeah, I was pretty skeptical when you're like, I want to bring a trekking pole to the table for the hunting industry. And I was like, dude, that has been done. Have you ever been in REI? There's 40 of them on the wall there. Right. What are you going to do? That's so different.
Well, and when we decided to try to start, and launch Sissy Sticks, it was that same thing, right? I got on Amazon and typed in trekking poles. There's 1,000 hits, right? And you get them all the way from $9.99 to $250 and everything in between, all makes, models, materials. So it was a daunting task at first to try to figure out how can we build a trekking pole that's built for a hunter.
Yeah.
And that's, it took about a year and a half of really just prototyping and testing and before we really dialed that in and figured out that combination of carbon fiber on the upper 2/3 and that aluminum on the bottom third was kind of that winning combination for hunters since they abuse them so bad,
We put them in the hands of lampers as well, and we went to New Zealand, and I think that's when we finally decided, okay, you have a product.
Yeah.
You've got one.
It survived.
It survived. I tried my best to just destroy them.
Yeah. So anyways, that's where, it all started. And then from there, it just kind of has evolved and grown and kind of diverged into other product offerings. We launched the Gaiter last fall.
Yep.
And then we built out our product roadmap to take us kind of the next 3 to 5 years out. So we're super excited.
So that's a great segue to get into this Gaiter discussion. This is where Ryan can actually talk for the first time. Lean into the mic, Ryan.
Thought I was out on this one, but sure, I'll speak to these Gaiters. We've had a lot of opportunities. Ryan and I, have done a ton of hunts in this last year and had just all kinds of opportunities in different type terrains and places to test these things. And so we've really run them through the ringer. And, with Gaiters, I think a lot of people know, all of us in this room have had multiple brand Gaiters fail us. It's one of those pieces that just never has lasted too long. So now after abusing these things for so many trips, so many times, really comfortable with where they're at. Really tough. Do everything that we kind of ask of them. So they've been great.
Good.
Who else has put them through heavy use in this room?
I think everybody.
I think we all have.
everybody
Even
has.
you guys have done some, I think you articulated it really well, just some very treacherous stuff. We're talking sheets of ice, you're breaking through, different terrain that's just got stuff that just wants to poke you. And I experienced that in Mexico. I went down to Ensenada in December on just a quail hunt. Quail hunt, yeah. You're the bird guy. Obviously, I'm not. I don't know my birds. What kind of bird was it, Jordan? Well, I
don't know.
Had
I just
wings.
I just shot it.
There was a beak. What color was the beak, Jordan? I don't even know. But we went down. I went down there with my dad, and I made the mistake of not giving my dad some. So what a bad son I was. I show up. I've got these Gaiters, and my dad's got some pretty tough pants. But we're cactus country, guys. Everything wants to poke you.
It's pretty rugged down there.
I was so impressed. Those needles, and there were some big ones. They would hit that Gaiter, and it's almost as if they were redirected. And the smaller ones would attach and break, and I just never got it. Just never got through. It just was. I was so impressed. So super cool. So impressed with the toughness.
Ryan, you we've both been involved in what we wanted to see in a Gaiter. And you've worn, have you worn just about everyone out there?
Mm-hmm. I have. Yep.
And there are certain things that, I've worn the Sitka Gaiter, the OR, this one. I've never used the Kuiu. Kenetrek. Yeah. There's a number out there.
Kings has got one.
Yeah.
First Light has.
First Light's got one. King's got one. Sitka's got one. I've tried all three of those.
So there's a
library.
It's a competitive place, but I want to say that, we've complained mostly about
There's durability issues on a lot of the Gaiters that we've both ran over the years, for sure. These are kind of the ones that have satisfied everything. They're not getting torn up. I wore these in Arizona this year, as I'm assuming you did as well. We were kind of separate, but just trying to get them to fray and break and get a hole poked through them. And, if you've traipsed through the Arizona desert with all those choya and everything that's poking you, and just really running through the riggers. And I have no issues. They're still really, really waterproof, crossing creeks and all that. You can see with these ones, I've just beat the snot out of them, and they're in great shape. No issues with the bottom strap, and I really like the buckle.
Well, the other thing that
we
traditionally with Gaiters that I've personally struggled with, I don't know if it's because I have weird legs or whatever, but I've heard it from other people, is fit.
Yes.
Is sliding. Like,
yeah, unless you have Eric Chester's calves. Dude, those were actually, it doesn't matter what, like Eric puts on a gaiter and it's going to stay in place. But some of us don't have that luxury.
Chicken legs.
Yeah, we have, both you and I have chicken legs, and so like it just would fall down, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And these don't fall down, but they also don't feel restrictive. Like
Totally.
Like
they're comfortable.
It fits really nice. The height is perfect in my opinion. Obviously, durability was like a center point focus for Bryce and the team.
But fit and feel was too.
But secondarily to that was comfort, yes, and performance.
Yeah, I mean, when we built them, that was the key, right? We knew that they had to have kind of that lasting durability because of how often other Gaiters have failed on people. But that all-day comfort was a big component of the design as well. Like if you can't keep a Gaiter on and be comfortable all day, or if you're always trying to pull it up, or it's just not an enjoyable experience. You're too focused on that instead of what you should be focused on. So those were two big components of it: that durability and the all-day comfort when we were designing them.
Now, I know you, Ryan, and you didn't just wear them. You're going to do other things to test them too, like try to sabotage them in some way in an accelerated manner. So, what are all the things you did to these Gaiters?
Well, like one of the biggest times where I've noticed Gaiters fail and they fall apart is when I'm traipsing through boulder fields in the high country. You and I have spent a ton of time in boulder fields, mostly on those mule deer hunts, especially. We're up in the upper crust of the mountains, and sometimes you're going through miles of boulder fields in a day. And that's where the lower end tends to wear out on you. We've gone through straps, we've gone through bottoms, but that especially. And then late season when the ice, the crunch, you're post holing through, you're punching your Gaiters through, and that's where I've also noticed that there's sometimes issues. So now they're not broadhead proof, right, Dave?
They're not. They're not.
Don't keep the broadhead out, unfortunately.
We had to go there, didn't we?
They're pretty tough.
We're every time.
Forever.
There's
It's always going to be there.
I'm not the man I once thought I was. I'm now David Brinker who stabbed an arrow in his leg.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Valkyrie Archery. Which was Valkyrie Archery, the sharpest broadheads.
In my life, never gets and I'm okay with that. Whatever. I did take Destination up to the next level.
Oh, arguably. I mean, that went viral. Yeah. Every episode there were kills, and I mean, you killed it with just the scene.
I'm just kidding, Corey.
No,
You're
that
a
was.
star,
Yeah, I don't know that I could stop a broadhead, but it stopped a lot of other stuff. What was that thing you were saying today at the meeting? There was a point that you had really kind of worked on it, and what were you using to kind of test it on the lower part of
yeah. So, it's little fine grit sandpaper, just trying to rough up everything and just see how durable they are. And I think these things have, talk about the thread.
Yeah.
Thread.
Absolutely.
That we're using here. It's a Dyneema thread. Yeah. Really, really tough. I mean, we know Dyneema with the tents that we've been using, and everybody's kind of blown away by this material. It's incredibly strong. I didn't know it was that abrasion resistant, abrasion proof, but running a bunch of sandpaper along this, I literally took a skewer, a metal skewer, and just ran it underneath one of these threads and tried popping it up, and it wouldn't. It actually pulled it out a little bit, but it didn't actually break.
Yeah.
That Dyneema thread, I think, really sets these things apart. It just makes it a really tough, durable Gaiter.
Well, and we changed, in addition to kind of switching to that Dyneema thread, the banding material on the bottom, right? We had a traditional banding material originally, and through testing and all that, we just knew that had to be improved, and so we changed to this new webbing material that's being used down there. And I got texts all the time from Ryan saying, man, I just went on this hike. I was doing everything I could to try to damage that piece or tear it or cut it, kicking sagebrush constantly, like everything he could do. And it just, nothing.
We've got a mountain out here, Copper City, actually. And I go hiking, especially right now. It's every day. I'm doing a few miles. And there's this, I don't know what bush it is, but it's got little spikes on it. And it's like a briar patch. And I'm just running my Gaiters up against that thing all the way up as often as I can coming down. And, as you can see, I've been running these all season, and they're still great shape. So,
one of the things that I really like about our relationship, Ryan, with Bryce is that you've allowed us to just beat the crap out of everything. You send us stuff early, we go and we use it, and the natural evolution is for us to come back to the drawing board and say, hey, we were able to wreck this doing this, or we wrecked it doing that, and you never quite know how a product's really going to work until you just use it and use it and use it under the conditions that you're going to use it in. Right. You might think it's going to work in a lab, but it's not until you get it out in the field and you actually use it that you find a lot of things out.
Right.
And what I appreciate is that we've been able to do that, and then we come back to the drawing board and you figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, everything's been like that with these Gaiters, right? I don't know, Lampert's, it was like a year and a half ago that we went on our first trip out, and I was talking about Gaiters with Lampert's. We hadn't even built the first prototype yet. But we were just talking about it, and I was telling him what my ideas were and thoughts were. And, it was similar to the trekking poles where there's 1,000 different types of Gaiters out there. You can go buy any size, style, price point, whatever. And it's like, why would we want to build a Gaiter, right? But I just felt like there's a way to improve them. You can do incremental improvements and come up with a better product that's built more for the backcountry hunter than the traditional stuff you're getting at REI or wherever.
Well, the reality is, even though there's a lot of Gaiters out there, that doesn't mean there's any good ones or very many good ones.
Yeah,
very true.
There's a lot of that's how all business is. There's always a way to improve, and Bryce, I've been very impressed with you over the last couple of years of getting to know you and your ability to analyze. You're a very detail-oriented person, which it's very foreign to me because I'm like, I fly pretty high, but you're able to look at like the Gaiter or whatever product you're developing and go, what are the things? Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there, but I already have ideas of how that could be better, like instantly, which is impressive to me. That doesn't come naturally to most people or most brands. That's why they have those products.
Well, and the thing that Bryce does so well, like to kind of parlay that is, I remember when I first started talking to you and you were pitching me the sissy sticks, and I just didn't. At first, I remember,
name.
Yeah, both me and Brian are like, can we call them gritty sticks or something? Like that sounds like a tougher thing. But the funny thing there was, it was kind of like you called it because of the story, right, with your uncle.
Just good family friend.
A family friend, but they were sissy, but they're the toughest dang stick.
Yeah.
And what's been born out of your brand that you've built and the culture that you've cultivated here with your products that I love that we're all talking about here is just this idea that like it's almost like 1% better. If I can just make it 1% better, it's better than what it was before. Right. But you take things incrementally far beyond 1%. I mean, you like what you guys have done and accomplished with the Gaiter and what you set out to do. I remember when you finally had connected with Ryan and you said, hey, I've talked with Ryan. I'm looking to the Gaiter. And for me, I was like, that's a natural extension of what you guys are doing with hiking. And you've provided a product that performs while you're hiking and makes the experience a lot more enjoyable or increases performance. And now you're just addressing also the hiker himself and his, and you guys went to work with a mission to literally build arguably, and I would say we're willing to, guys, put this up against anybody, the best Gaiter ever.
You're making me blush.
Well, I mean, it goes to the team though. Like it's just like David said, it's your mindset and ability to recognize that your belief that there is a way to make something better, and then to have the quality R&D of Brian and Ryan to be able to match that belief in actual execution of like R&D.
Well, I want to say like there's a lot of products that we've used over the years, and you, David, you and Bassham, you came from Sitka. You guys have been there for a while. I ran Sitka for quite a while, and I always wondered with certain products, and Gaiters are one of them. Why isn't this better? It's not working. There's good products in the line, but this one is not one of them. And I'd always wonder, as I come back and say, look, there's a problem, this design, that design. And often the big corporations won't adjust. And Ryan, you and I have experienced this. We talked about it a lot on hunts where we have a product and we go back to the manufacturer and we say, guys, if you just change these two things, you have a winner. And they're like, oh, thanks. And they just keep selling it the way that it is. And it's been shocking to me. Yeah. Because it's not that difficult. I mean, with a smaller company, with you, Bryce, we can say, we don't like this about the pole. We don't like this about the trekking pole. The sissy stick problem here. Gaiter, same thing. And it's like, okay. And we fix it. And it's like, wow.
It is one of the benefits of being a smaller, nimble team. As companies grow, it's difficult to
becomes
make
increasingly
adjustments. Plus, I feel like sometimes most companies that grow to a certain level experience a level of arrogance where they don't think they need to make changes because they're selling a lot of stuff, right? So,
that's what's cool. Like I've had conversations from the mountain, calling Bryce and saying, "Hey, I think this could be a problem," and usually within a day or two, Bryce has already got a solution. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, but it couldn't happen without guys like you going and beating the tar out of them, right? It's
No. Hey, listen. That light's shining on you. You don't need to share that with any of them. They got their own light, and it's fine.
He's so dang humble.
It's fine. And the thing, but it all stems, and I think what's kind of paramount here is the name of the company. Why did we want to call it Peaks? Why is it something that, but it's because it truly, everything that you're doing, you are trying to take whatever it is to its peak and say, how can we get to the top? What's the farthest we can take this? And I think that belief and value that you guys have and are developing with this is obviously showing in product, which gets me excited to see like what's next and like what you guys are doing.
If you remember some of those conversations when we were talking about the rebrand, and how many names did we have on a chart that I would I'd call all you guys and be like, what do you think about this? What do you think? That's stupid. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's what I get.
We weren't that mean.
No, but sometimes.
Maybe we were.
But eventually, when we all kind of like settled on Peaks, it was kind of one of those special moments, right? It was like, yeah, this feels right. And it looks right. And it just directionally is what we need to do. It was awesome.
Peaks. Next Ridge Performance. Get your Gaiter today at www.peaksequipment.com.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask, because we've all come at this from different positions, places in this industry, different backgrounds, and we've all been friends for a really long time, for extended periods. And to be able to work with you, Bryce, a little bit and just kind of be on a team has been really fun to be part of this whole thing. I'm curious, going around the room a little bit, starting with Ryan Bassham, and just kind of go around. What attracted you to working with Bryce, and what has you excited about moving forward? Because what a lot of people don't know is that you've known Bryce a long time.
Yeah. So Bryce and I go to church together here in Bozeman. And gosh, what was it? 3.5?
3.5, maybe.
3.5.
Almost 4.
It's been a long time. So Bryce invites me out to breakfast. And I'm like, I don't know what this is about.
Bryce. Yes, it's
awesome.
It's
good.
It's good. Bryce, it's something I've never experienced.
Next time.
That's a new Peaks experience.
So we go to breakfast, and I kind of had the same experience you did. He pitches me on the idea of trekking poles for the hunting industry. And as his friend, I'm like, how do I let him down easy and let him know this is not a good idea? This is going to fail. But he was passionate about it. He had some good ideas. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think this could work if it's done the right way and in the right mindset. And a lot of brands, that's where they fail. I mean, we've all kind of experienced that, who can kind of find that little bit of wiggle room where they can find success into what they really want to go out there and do. And I think that's what Bryce has done. And that's what keeps me excited to continue to work. And, you know, it's been fun getting to hang. I mean, we were all friends before, you know, any of us even knew Bryce. I think I introed a lot of you to Bryce out of that conversation that we initially had. And so it's been really cool just to see it all come together. But Bryce has taken this thing to a really exciting place, and that's what gets me really jacked up on what we can do in the future. Some great minds in this room, and we've got a good leader, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it was I still remember when Bryce slipped in my DMs. I'll never forget on Instagram. All of a sudden I get this DM from this company called Sissy Sticks. And he's like, hey, Jordan, this is Bryce. And hey, love Mountain Ops. Love what you guys are doing. Like, is there any way we can, you know, and can I send you a pair of poles? And I actually kind of was rude. I didn't reply immediately. And then like he hit me up a little bit later and was like, hey, like, remember that message I sent you never responded to? And I was like, wow, I'm just trying to be that girl that's hard to get, you know? And obviously he got me. So, but I still remember when Bryce sent me the poles, and I went and used them on a hunt. And he kind of explained what he's explained earlier. And I was like, wow, Bryce, you're kind of really onto something. I never thought you could make the pole different, like what Brian said. And so that was a cool part, but I think more deeply, and I love what Ryan said, is it's the individual. Like when you look at a brand, you can make a brand look as cool as you want it to, a cool mark, a cool name, a cool mission, a cool vision, like all these things. But the most important part of any brand is its people. Yeah. And more deeply than that, it's its founder. And I have just found within you as its founder, the fact that you are, as Ryan said earlier, that I think is a really good way of saying it, is that you're so teachable and you're such a sponge and you're just wanting to do what's best and what's best for product, what's best for the people at this table, for your customers. Like you genuinely, you'll text me, you'll be like, hey, this customer, like you just have a deep love for people. And so it comes out in your product to want to make people's experiences better by being able to help them get to, quote, the next ridge. But that is what I have loved about working with Bryce and seeing what he's doing and the vision he has for this company. It excites me about what's up, like the next ridge for us and where you're taking this thing. And so it's for everyone that's listening, like pay attention, like tune in, like follow Peaks. And obviously you guys are following Gritty, you're following Stealthy Hunter, you're watching Ryan and Brian and doing some cool things, but Bryce is doing some cool things too. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that like we're all able because of you to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's been a privilege for me to work with everybody at this table and others that aren't here. But it goes back to what you said. For me, it's all about the experience for the customer, right? Like I want to be able to make that experience just incrementally better. Like you said, if it's just a little bit better, then they're going to want to go do it again. They're going to do it more. They're going to be more successful. They're going to be happier doing it. And so everything, you know, when we started on this Gaiter project, we knew we had to have a durable Gaiter that was going to last. We knew it had to be comfortable. But there's little things that I just was like, why don't we add a reinforcement patch, you know, on the inside? People are scuffing that all the time. When I looked at Gaiters, that thing was just beat to shreds, right? And then I've seen some other ones that have some reinforcement, but they kind of bubbled up or they just, you know, they didn't quite execute the way it should. So we really focused on that as how can we reinforce. And you basically have 3 layers of protection between that and your boot where this Hypalon patch is. You know, the other part of it was like just something as simple as the buckle, right? Yeah. When a buckle fails on a Gaiter, typically that Gaiter's done, right? Because it's permanently sewn in. So we went and kind of were like, how can we make that experience just better? Yeah. And we used this cam lock gatekeeper buckle where, you know, if that buckle were to break for some reason, we can just ship you a new one, right? And you're back in business.
Have 3 or 4 in your pack.
Or you'd have to send them a whole new piece.
Right? It's not that you're like, oh, now I can't use my Gaiter the rest of the trip. Right. So it was all those little details that we just thought would help make the experience better. And that's really what my focus is with Peaks. It's just making that experience better.
I'd like to hear Lampers, what is it that brought you in exactly, and what are you excited about?
Well, unlike others at this table, the one thing that brought me in is I love the name Sissy Sticks.
I was a fan of Sissy Sticks as well. Let it be known.
Me and Brian are just the loudest. Sorry, guys. You guys got to get at our level.
I mean, I remember, I think I used to call people sissies when I see them, right out of REI, trekking poles, Gaiters. I'm that guy now. I mean, I don't go anywhere without both of them. But, no, I thought it was a pretty clever name. And so I guess what I'm excited about is just this, what we've been talking about. Being a part of this group, if I have an idea, Bryce listens, which is great, and I have a little bit of say. I feel like, with all the hunts that we're able to do and the adventures that we're able to spend time on, having quality gear is extremely important. We all know that. And so, with Bryce willing to work with us and try to make these products better that we just use every single day on our hunts, Brian, you and I get to spend probably more time than most on the mountain, and gear is just that crucial. So just being a part of building products, and having, again, Bryce be willing to basically build it in its best version, and make changes at any point that just makes sense. That's what excites me. And so, there's obviously going to be more products down the line, but I think where we're at with the poles, these Gaiters, tough as nails.
Don't forget the spoon.
The spoon, the 8-inch spoon, all good things. So, I'm super impressed with how it's gone so far and the products that have been created.
When we built the spoon, it was off of a strand of Ryan's hair. And we said, how long do we want this spoon to be? And Ryan said, well, here.
It must at least
about that
be.
long.
It must at least
that long, and we are good, because then I get it in the pack and out, and
I feel like
it's
there's
good.
a parable somewhere in there. Should be. What about you, Brinker?
So I'm at a point in my life where I'm blessed to be able to pick and choose what I work on. And when I left Sitka a few years ago, I decided I'm going to start my own company to feed my family. And I'm going to work on projects in the outdoor industry, because I love the industry, that I'm passionate about, and nothing else. And through my music and my land company and the work I'm doing on a couple different boards, all of it is connected to connecting people to the outdoors. And that's I think, other than my family, my number one priority in my life, because the outdoors have done so much for me.
Right.
And so when Bryce, and then the second thing was I promised myself that I would work with people that I find to have high integrity. Even if I wasn't as excited about their projects, which wasn't the case here, but I've been approached with projects that I wasn't actually very excited about the product, but I really like the people, and I've just kind of learned my lesson that that's the best way to guide your decisions, is find good people, you can do good things. So long story short, Ryan connected me to Bryce. Bryce and I met at Western Hunting Expo, 2 years ago? I was down there rocking out.
Just last year, I think.
Down there in the Mountain Nuts booth at our stage, that everybody's just like, are they selling anything? Like, what's Mountain Ops even doing here? Like, I thought that was for the banquet. Like, it piqued my interest, the trekking pole thing. But I'm like, I want to meet Bryce, and Bryce reached out to me, and we sat on a couch over by the Mountain Ops booth, and that was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
And I could tell within 5 seconds that I liked Bryce, because I didn't get there's like a weird, for those of you who aren't in the outdoor industry, there's this weird underbelly of the outdoor industry where there's this air about some people that I don't have patience for it anymore. Some people like it. I just won't be around people like that. There's this arrogance, elitism, I'm competitiveness that I don't know, maybe I'm getting older, maybe I just don't care anymore. I just want to be around people I like. And I immediately like Bryce. So that checked the first box. Then I wanted to know more about his mission. Like, actually, why are you doing this? Well, Bryce, like me, finds a lot of value in the outdoors. He wants to show his kids the value of like living a life wildly outside. And the products that we're making are enabling the lifestyle that I think is one of the most valuable things in any of our existences. And one of the things that I also think is the most lost on our current society and our culture. So all of that equation is going on in my head. I like the guy. I trust Ryan. I know, I obviously I'm friends with Brian and Ryan. Like, I'm doing all this. I'm like, I think I told you on the couch. I'm in.
Oh, yeah. It was, for me, a shock almost, right? Because it was like, dude, I've only known you for 5 minutes. And he was like, I'm in.
He called me either that evening or the next day. I was like, dude, I told Bryce I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I was just
I was like,
away.
sweet.
Here's the deal. Jordan knows this. Anybody who's spent a lot of time at trade shows knows this. I spent 10 years going to shows and meeting people, and you learn pretty quickly. You get really good at judging whether you're going to get along with someone. Mm-hmm. You get pretty good at that. Not always right, but I can get it about 85-90% right.
Some people surprise you, right?
Yes.
And those are some of the hidden gems that you just like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, and sometimes I'm like, dang it. I really like. I was kind of a dick. I should have been nicer to that guy, and because he actually is a pretty amazing dude or woman or whatever. But when I met Bryce, I knew, and I mean, I felt like I'd known you my whole life.
Yeah, it was
really weird. Actually,
connection.
It's very rarely happened to me. And then coupled with, I'm obviously from sort of a similar side of the hunting industry. You know, obviously my career was in apparel.
Right,
which we're not doing, but it's along a similar vein, I guess you could say. So I can kind of look forward and be like, man, I'm really, really excited about the vision of this company. I love the mission, and I like the guy. I'm in. And really now, you know, I talk to Bryce almost every day.
Pretty close.
unless I miss, you know, some days I miss it, and he, you know,
you're on
crap about it.
He's on strike too.
Yeah. And I'm very, very happy with. I'm like, this is really a highlight for me. I really enjoy being here and spending time with you guys, and I'm super stoked for what he's doing and what he's going to do to this industry, because I think it does it.
Agreed.
Well, and I'm just a naive guy, right? I came totally from the outside financial services industry. I mean, yeah, I grew up.
What did they used to say, Bryce? You excelled in the sheets?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
I was an Excel guy. But, you know, totally naive coming into it, not knowing what to expect.
True, but one of the things I really appreciate about you is that you look at the people you've surrounded yourself with, not just in this room, but other people within this space that you've built connections with. I think when you look around at some of the best companies, it's not that the person in charge knows everything. It's that they bring in that piece that fits that solution.
Like, Brian, wouldn't you say like Elon Musk? You think Elon Musk knows how to build spaceships? No, but he's sure sending them to the moon,
right? So,
and like an electric car, right? Yeah. But he was. I think what you're getting at that I'm aligning with is, or like Steve Jobs. Like, okay, does Steve Jobs know how to make an iPhone? I mean, he wouldn't be the first person if you asked Steve Jobs, who's still alive. I mean, maybe he wouldn't accept this because he was pretty egotistical, even though I still love the guy. But he would. That's the one thing that I think people get lost on sometimes is as a founder, as a leader, as a visionary that you are, and you're so good at putting it off, and you're so good at just being who you are, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But you are good at assembling people and bringing those people together so that you can learn from them, learn from customers, learn from people, and apply it to your work. And then bring great products and a great vision and mission to, like what David said, changing the industry. It's not, you shouldn't, anybody at this table say that they know everything. Yeah. You're up in the night. We all don't. We are good at certain things that we do. And that's why I always say anybody who has great success has never truly done it alone.
Well, and I knew that the only way that this would be successful is to get the right people involved. And that started with the very first meeting with Ryan, right? Like, I had huge respect for Ryan.
Bassham.
Yeah, Bassham. and we went to breakfast, and I pitched him on the idea, and then all those little pieces just started to come together, right? And from day one, I was like, I got to have the right people around me to be successful with this, because I just didn't have the knowledge. I mean, I could go out and test my own products and do my own thing and try to bootstrap it, but I just knew that wasn't the right approach. And I really wanted people who I respected. It was like Dave was explaining, like that instant connection that Dave and I had. I was like, that's a guy I want to work with forever, right? I want to always be. Yeah, I mean,
One more.
Yeah, you're good, dude. You're on the fringe.
One more, Dave.
You know your role. You know where you're at.
I think I got at least another couple weeks.
But and that's more of it's not just a knowledge thing that you're trying to get out of people, even though that's part of it. It's not their business acumen in the industry, even though that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's really about that cohesive group that really connects, right, and works well together. And that's how you really progress and move things forward.
I want to share my thoughts on that, but I also want to get to a question with you, which is, in the course of this entrepreneurial kind of adventure, the outdoors, the hunting, you were with me when I killed my bull elk this year, the bow and all that, and it just, you've had some cool experiences, right?
Yeah.
What I'm curious about are think on this for a second. What is one of the peak experiences for you so far with this whole thing?
This 2-year journey that he's been on, right?
Like, what's one of those like whoa moments? But before you say that, I want to say I've been doing this like 8-9 years now, and where I left my 9 to 5.
You left your sheets too.
I did. I left my.
You
Excel
both were a
spreadsheets.
bunch of Excel nuts.
I left the accounting. I left the finance. I left the IT. And I did podcasting and the film stuff, and it's been a wild ride and a good journey. I've experienced the dark side of this industry and the light side, And I had decided a number of years ago, maybe 3 years back, three and a half or so, I was no longer going to take what I had built, this platform and this reach that I had worked hard to create, and this audience that appreciates what I do. I was no longer going to take that and not use it to build people I want to see grow and excel. Because behind every business, there are people, and those people have values that align with mine or that don't align with mine. And I felt like, look, there are people that I think represent the salt of the earth, like what I think have the character and the things the traits that I admire. And I like, Lampers here and Hillary and stuff, and Jordan, Brinker, all of you, Bassham. I see this, and I wanted to take the platform and go, okay, let's pull in those brands and those people that align with me. And I think in our society today, that's more important than ever, because we have a lot of companies and businesses that do not align with our values. And when we give them money, time, and energy, we make them more powerful to undermine what we believe in. So for me, from a philosophical standpoint, I just felt like this is the direction I want to take my business and how I want to leave this world. I want to have left it in a way where I felt like I took people or brands or individuals that didn't have the same platform that I had built, but give them the voice and then see them just grow. And then I get in return everything that's worth having. Money's only a small portion of what motivates and what really adds value to one's life. And so that's where I'm coming from. And then I just like having input on gear. Like, I feel like it's mine. Like, I get to use it and go, I hate this. And, I'm pretty open with my opinions. And I'm like, this is stupid. Get rid of it. And then Lampers will go, no, it's not. And we'll have these debates.
I don't know how many times I've said, don't listen to Brian. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Lampers is stupid.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how many texts and calls you get after one meeting with them, and then there's like, hey, Brian really didn't know what he was talking about. Like, let's just push forward on my idea, and then all of a sudden the new product comes out, and Brian's over here like, dude, You guys didn't do anything that I said.
It's not that extreme, but
No.
But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like there's more to it than just the dollar bills and such, and so it's much more rewarding. And this group right here is just that. We're all supportive of one another. It's pretty cool. So I really appreciate being part of the group.
Yeah, I think, for me, you asked what's been that pinnacle moment so far, and
That peak
moment.
Peak experience.
Peak experience. I remember after I met Dave for the first time, and he said, "Yeah, I'm in." About maybe 2 months later, he was going to be in town for another meeting, and I was like, "Can we just get together?" And it was going to be Bassham, Brinker, and myself. And I rented out this little room, and I brought up all these ideas, and I was super excited to show them all these things. And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do this."
I forgot about that.
And I remember Brinker looked at me and he goes, "Where do you see this going?" Just very pointed, like Brinker. What are you doing? Where do you want to take this? What's your idea? And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I just want to sell stuff." And Brinker was like, "No, that's not good enough."
How was that?
No, but you get the point, right? It was that light bulb moment of, it's not enough just to build a product, right? It's not enough just to sell a good or to provide a service to somebody. You have to change people's experience. And from that day forward, it was kind of like, where are we taking this? What are we doing? And that's what really led to evolving from Sissy Sticks to Peaks. It was like a 6-month process of just, I was brain dead every night going to bed, just thinking, where is this going? What am I doing?
Did
How's
Jordan
this?
Harbertson ever drive you crazy with multiple logo designs, all the designing brilliance? And then once you fall in love with one thing, he's like, "No, that's stupid. It's out." And then you do another one, it's more brilliant. You like it, and then he throws it in the garbage.
Well, like I said, you guys saw those sheets.
I've been very impressed with your Microsoft Wordness.
Hey, come on. PCs forever.
Comic Sans is a great font for a logo.
But it was, and Peaks wasn't my first choice, to be honest. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. There was another name that I was really latched onto, Tenica.
Tenica, remember?
Tenica was the name that...
Brian, I remember Brian actually called me one time, and he's like, "He better not pick that." And I was like, "Why?" Well, because Brian goes, "Sounds like we're just going to put our tentacles on people and try and get them to buy our products." Like, or another word that's close to that too, and it's like he was very outspoken.
Like Niken Japanese, I don't know, like magnets for your head, or I don't know.
But it was, for me that was like, okay, I want to do something kind of technical, and Tenica was kind of just a cool name, I thought, and we
wouldn't allow it,
and then you guys wouldn't allow it, so I was like, okay, well, I lose. So
Bryce got to experience, for those of you that have been through a naming process in business. Like, making products is easy. Try coming up with a name. It's like the never-ending rabbit.
It's twice as hard.
And in today's world, because you're also trying to match it up with like a URL or like social media, can we actually own something unique?
Right.
So what I'm getting out of what you're expressing is that this whole process of the origins of your business and brand and how it started and the people that you're bringing on this journey with you, it's a culminating experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It all kind of culminated into that rebranding experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, as we were working on that, and as I was trying to brainstorm about the product roadmap and where we were going to take this and how we were going to take a system approach to have everything kind of work together and try to, forecast that out 3 to 5 years. That's not an easy thing to do, but it was so fulfilling. I was exhausted, right? Literally, I was exhausted going through it. But it was so fulfilling. And even my wife was like, "I've never seen you this happy." Yeah. I was tired, and she could tell I was tired and stuff. But she's like, you're happy doing this, and I want you to keep doing this. I was so grateful for her saying that too, because, you know, there's times where you're like, do I need to go back to being the Excel wizard, right? Do I need to whip out a pivot table really quick just to satisfy that?
Should I make an algorithm? Right. Here's an equation. Oh my gosh, see that cell and that cell when I highlight this and add this, it spits this number out. I'm like, Bryce, don't care. But tell me how you're going to make the poll awesome. And he does it time and time again.
So great.
That was actually one thing that you did, like you've always said, that your wife has just seen a whole new you.
Yeah.
It's like
I've heard
Bryce
you say that a few
2.0.
times.
Yeah, but I'm so...
Bryce 2.0, I like that.
Yeah.
Todd.
Todd, yeah. We got Todd over here. Todd. Jeez, Todd.
But, you know, she's the support behind all of it. You know, she's the one that allows me to do this and sacrifices her own time and energy and helps support the family and does all the stuff that needs to be done behind the scenes so that I can pursue this dream.
Wives are, this is how I say it, tell me if you agree. Wives are the silent partner, but the most active partner in your business.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Without question.
100%?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Well,
So-
I'm excited. I'm glad to be part of the group here. This has been a fun ride so far. I think there's a lot ahead of us. For people that are listening, if you want to learn more about Peaks, you can go to peaks.com.
Peaks Equipment.
Peaksequipment.com.
Yep.
We're still trying to buy Peaks.com.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We're negotiating with the Saudi Arabians.
Saudi oil
right.
company. That owns
We're trying to sell enough poles to make up like the oil money we're going to kind of need to buy that domain. So we're working on that,
And
guys.
it's PEAX
Yeah.
and equipment.
Because X marks the spot of where you can get next Ridge performance at peaksequipment.com.
And if people can get a hold of Brinker on Instagram, that's probably
Just
great.
Dave Brinker, yeah.
Dave Brinker.
Yep.
Lampers is over at Stealthy Hunter and Hunt Harvest Health. You got your podcast over there. And Bassham, get a hold of you at
Ryan Bassham
on Instagram.
on the gram.
Anywhere else? You got your website for your booking agency?
Yeah, so trophyexpeditions.com. Yep, if you're looking to book a hunt, whether domestically or internationally, we got some pretty cool stuff going on.
And then Jordan Harbertson is hiding.
Yes.
His Instagram account's still live, though.
It's so funny, guys. I get more DMs. Are you okay?
Isn't that funny? I get those too. And it's if I don't go on there for like 3 days.
Well, and I've kind of been off social media just so people that are like, this is maybe my first public announcement. People that are like sending messages like, where is Jordan Harbertson? Like he was everywhere and like all the time on social media. And honestly, guys, like I'm on social media still. I'm following along. I'm kind of like the ghost that's there, that's commenting, but I'm not making posts and I'm okay. Everything's wonderful. But you can, if you want to go follow my page, there's not much posts going up right now, but also you can go check out Mountain Ops. You know the drill.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Yep. And then Bryce, you do have an Instagram, personal.
I think I have 100 followers.
yeah. Okay. So our goal today, guys, if you can help us.
No, and
is
I'm private, so that's not going to work.
Well, I don't blame you, like Jordan.
I'm not a social media
And
guy.
to explain that real quick, Brian, you and I talked about this. Building a brand, building a company, and doing it in today's world, and involving social media it's a strain. It's a strain on personally. It's a strain on your family, and I mean you can get lost and so into that you forget to look up and live and just enjoy what's in front of you and be present. So I'm not. I want to be clear that when I say this, I'm not saying that anybody who's doing social media is bad. I'm just saying that for now I'm recharging. I need to recharge. I need to be present in my family's life. I need to look up and live and be present in the world that I'm living in, while still I do it from time to time, look in and check in on social media because there's an immense amount of connections there. I love social media, but I'm just taking a time out.
So you did not do a formal announcement?
Have not. No, this is kind of my first.
So you didn't do an announcement on social media about
And I will not. And I will not do. And I will not do an announcement that says.
Answer every comment.
Yeah. Guys, I just want to let you know I'm going to be going off social media and I'm done with it. But please comment below. I need some pity comments right now, and send me DMs and likes are welcome, please. I'm craving some attention.
For those that are tuned in right now, listening that haven't followed, Ryan and I started the Gritty Stealthy Community on locals.com, and there are links on the YouTube videos or on our websites. But if you go to gritty.locals.com, we've got a little social media thing going there. It's kinda like
how does Locals work, Brian?
It's a private community. People can sign up to be part of that community as a member, and it's free, and they have access to just view what's going on. But for people who won't want to sign up, it's like a Patreon account, who want to support Ryan and I directly. It's $7 a month, and they have access to exclusive video and film content.
Okay.
Our my entire podcast library is there, and then our films are also there. All of them, both the exclusive and the public content, is all there, commercial free. So you get that too, get commercial free videos. But there's that engagement too, because I think community is important. I have withdrawn substantially from Facebook and from Instagram.
This is what you were telling me last week about this.
Yeah.
And the thing that you've really loved about this Locals community that you guys have built is it's created a space and a safe space for to be with the like-minded people that you want to. Because social media, that's one of the tough things about social media right now is it has become toxic, but then they put all these algorithms and things that limit you from reaching people you want to connect with.
Yeah.
And Locals gives you the means by which they can have direct connection with you with no blocks. That's cool.
And right now, yes, it's $7 a month, but that does help Ryan and I become less dependent on corporate sponsors, less dependent on big tech, YouTube and algorithm, getting our content out to the masses and affiliate codes. We still want to work with all of that, but we love the fact that we have a whole group of supporters that are now just funding us directly. Yeah. And it's awesome. Those numbers are growing, and I can't thank them enough for that support, because it does really empower us, gives us a lot of ability to pursue another employee, which is going to be great because we can produce more content now. I think we're just going to continue to grow. But I like the community because a troll isn't going to sign up for $7 a month.
And if he is, he's an ultimate troll.
Yes.
He's literally investing in hate. You're just like, dude, you're actually paying to go hate people? Like, wow.
And
I'd spend my money somewhere else, bro.
So the people that do go there, they're there because they truly believe in what we do. And that's the community I want. Cool. If you don't believe in what I'm doing, change the channel. Go somewhere else. Yeah. And if you don't want to pay to support us, I am totally fine with that. I've been in that position before. We're going to continue to produce tons of free content. That will never change so long as we still have access and we're not kicked off. Hunting isn't censored. Guns aren't shut down. Gun content, But those, we've seen it all. There's a spike in censorship, and I want to build an alternative home where I can put my content. And the fact is, if we are solely reliant on reaching big numbers instead of having it diversified, because right now a small group of people, you can do the math. At $7 a month, if 1,000 people join up, Ryan and I are doing pretty good, right? And that's not that many people. And you add 4,000 people to that really does help us kind of be like, goodbye, YouTube. We're not dependent on reaching 200,000 people with a film. We can reach 4,000. Yeah. And we still can do what we love to do.
And we can show a lot more, right? Yeah. Things aren't blurred out. Things aren't censored, shadow banned with how YouTube does it. There's things that we can show now. Like in the last video of my daughter's hunt, for example, there's a scene in there that we just weren't comfortable showing on YouTube. But it's all there for anybody who's a member or a subscriber.
That's really cool. Brian is telling us all this last night.
Yeah, there are graphic shots on animals like that Ryan and I have to edit around because maybe there's too much blood or something, which I'm gonna, but when I break down an animal, we try to show that connection between the food, this animal, the killing and the eating of the animal. And you wouldn't believe how difficult it is on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook channels, how difficult it is to share that content without your content just being crushed by the algorithms. Yeah. They just are like, it's not suitable for this, it's not suitable for that, it's not suitable for this. And so they just really halt your progression. So what we love about this is Ryan and I can produce content that goes out to that core group that's more in depth, more detailed, more even graphic, more authentic. And then we still can play in all the other places.
And if I can just say one thing, and this won't offend anyone at this table, but the people of Locals. It's the stupidest name for your platform.
It's terrible.
It's like, I don't get it. So this is for locals only? Like, that's like, so only, I'm just like, I think we could have come up with a better name.
OnlyFans.
No, we don't. We don't want to. Okay, we should start one called Everything Fans. We're very inclusive, but we only have $7 a month, and we keep all our clothes on. So, no, it's kind of like, but guys, check out Locals, it sounds like. You guys are doing big things there, and exclusive content and podcasts and things that you can't get just anywhere.
And the best way to get there is an app, but the best way to sign up is to actually just type in gritty.locals.com in your web browser, and it'll walk you through it.
That's really cool.
Well, I'm going to join, and I'm going to put up $7 because I like you guys, and I want you guys to keep doing what you're doing.
Sold me on it.
Yeah,
He's not there.
Brinker's not
sign
there.
up and
I'm a laggard. I really am.
No.
Brandon's an early adopter.
I'm an early adopter.
It's really cool. And I can
He's
be
like,
trendy.
once we get to the peaks, then he's finally like, oh, I guess everybody's doing it. I'll jump in. Fine, cool. Like, we could all jump into the pool and be like, dude, it's warm. And he's like, not doing it. Not doing it. I'm going to wait.
Well, anyway, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate all the support. Check out peaksequipment.com and stay gritty.
Kirk out.